Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Podcast Daily. The three amigos are all back together. It's been so long. I've missed it so much. Welcome to Bill Landis back to the Daily on Tuesday morning. Berm, of course.
I'm so glad Bill's back. I just can't even help myself from interrupting you. I'm so glad to see someone else's face but yours. This is
You couldn't even wait. You just had to say that.
Now this has been one of the wildest months of my life. I've seen your face way too much. So
I got some bad news for you, bud.
Oh man.
Because we're gonna be on the road a lot in the coming weeks, and you're still stuck with me. But you could have done the Daily without me today. You chose this.
Yeah. I mean, I figure it's better to have everyone get a glimpse of everyone together and make sure they know that, we're all still alive and kicking. Plus, I figure there's such a heavy segment of the viewership that really only wants to watch us when Bill's on that I wanted to sort of latch on to his star and
latch on to his star, Berm?
Latching on to stars. I'm just glad Bill's back and had a brief intermission there that required a eye freshen up, and we're happy. I'm just glad everyone's back. The off season is so tedious at times that occasionally you just need to bring the gang together.
Yeah.
I'm
See what
happy
you
that
missed,
my return
Bill?
has brought you to tears, Brim. It means a lot to me.
That's really what happened. This is an emotional moment for all of us.
So these are different than the heat sweats out of your eyes that you get at Roosters.
Yeah, this is a much different thing.
Oh, okay. Real tears. Good.
This was a laughing tear. And this is one of those moments where I feel like if we had like a Patreon or something else out there that people could subscribe to for the raw, the real, that they probably would have enjoyed what just happened. But tough. You're not going to get that here. Anyway, my bad. So Ohio State had some stuff happening on Tuesday. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, let's. So off-season roster management. Not even close to complete. And as Bill and I talked about on Tuesday, there's going to be a lot more of it, certainly once you get to May, but Ohio State wasn't even done with that on Tuesday as Kamryn Babb, the Block O recipient, captain, one of the most inspirational figures on Ohio State's roster who scored a touchdown last year on a special play and special moment for him. That was the career capper as we anticipated. It was so tough for him to just get ready to run that one route and score that touchdown. He wasn't able to get back out there for the rest of the year. And we thought that that it would likely be the end of his career as well. He confirmed that with an announcement on Tuesday. So I'm sure, I don't know what it'll be, but he will always have a role around Ohio State, whatever he wants to do, whether that's getting into coaching, whether that's just staying on the sideline. The door to the Woody Hayes Athletic Center will always be open for Kamryn Babb.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how a guy like that doesn't have a role wherever he wants it, whether it's in physical therapy, whether he's working with Adam Stewart. I mean, they're certainly, those two know each other well enough. I'm sure that he found an interest in the healing process or however people respond to injury. Cam's career certainly didn't go the way that anyone ever thought it would. He was an electric wide receiver coming out of Christian Brothers High School in St. Louis, where he was a top 40 player in the country, and it's just unfortunate that you see these sort of careers just fizzle before they ever get to take off. But it was truly one of the best moments in my time covering Ohio State, being on the field as he scored that touchdown against Indiana. And I know how much it meant to him and his family. But more importantly, as you said, what he means to the Ohio State program and has meant to the Buckeye program over the last 5 years is hard to quantify.
Has anyone ever gone from playing to immediately being on the support staff in some capacity? Am I forgetting someone obvious? Did Cam Burrows do that? I think Cam Burrows might have done it a couple years ago, but it's rare. I think usually there's a guy you take a little hiatus from football, but I can see Kamm Babb just immediately transitioning into some kind of role with this program because of how much he means to it.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for a guy to potentially follow up with what CJ Barnett does, I mean, why would Kamm Babb not be the right perfect fit for that, to be the next guy to take over in that sort of role where he's basically a mentor to the entire team? I mean, if we're just creating spots for him, I think that'd be a natural fit as well.
Yeah, I don't remember it happening right away because most guys, even someone like Kenny Guyton, who was made for that at quarterback, was still, I've got the ability to go play. You have arena leagues or, some of these, AAFL leagues or the XFL coming back. It's hard for them because like most of them aren't willing to dive right into it, even if they think that quarterbacking or coaching is going to be in their future. You look at JT Barrett sort of put that off for several years before finally, I guess, begrudgingly going back and doing that with the Detroit Lions this year. But even a lot of those guys who expect that they're going to be coaches still don't want to dive into it right away while they're still athletic enough to do it. Now, maybe Kamryn Babb's situation is different because that's not an option for him. We know that the knee and all the setbacks in both legs are not going to allow him to do that. So maybe that changes the perception. Maybe that changes the opportunity. I know that nobody in the locker room at Ohio State and nobody on that coaching staff will want to see him leave. So however you can do that, there will be room. I'm sure of it.
It's just a matter of what he wants to do. I think that's probably something he's already considered, Bill, to be honest. I mean, that story is going to resonate with a lot of people in a lot of different worlds.
Yeah. What were you saying, Bill?
He should go do like TED Talks, tour the country, be a motivational speaker, be professionally handsome and articulate, which sounds like a great life.
He checks a lot of boxes there. And I mean, every time he was available to talk over the last couple of years, you couldn't help but be blown away by, the message that he provided. And that's why teammates gravitated towards him over the last couple of years. That's why he got the block O. He would sit out there with the media for like 45 minutes. Everybody else would come and go. You'd swoop in for a minute, get a couple helpings of Kamm Babb and leave and come back and still be talking about something else. Like what all else is there for him to say? Like we all know how difficult the process was, but he was so engaging and so willing to share his time. It was pretty cool. That's also why, as Berm said, so many people were rushing over to congratulate him and shed tears and share in that moment with the touchdown against Indiana because he had poured so much into it. Rarely do you get opportunities like that to cash in. So you wish Kamm Babb nothing but the best in that next step. Whatever it is, I think we can all say that we expect that he'll be successful in doing so. Tristan Gebbia made his decision for his next step. He's the former Oregon State quarterback. He started at Nebraska a long time ago. Didn't start as a starting quarterback. He began his career at Nebraska. He did start 4 games for Oregon State before an injury suffered in the 2020 season. He was leading an upset win over Oregon when he suffered a leg injury, never got that starting job back. But he is getting an extra year of eligibility, and he has chosen to use that at Ohio State. Berm, what do you know about Tristan Gebbia?
I mean, I remember his recruitment. He was a guy that was a big win for Nebraska. He was, I believe, he was a teammate of Keyshawn Johnson Jr.'s in California, and a guy that really was one of Mike Riley's big wins back in 2017. Which, I mean, that would have been the class of 2017. So we're talking summer of 2016, which does feel like a long, long time ago. But this is a kid that wants to be a coach. If we're talking about what we were just talking about with Kamryn Babb. He is a young man that wants to be a coach when his playing career is over, and the opportunity to come to Ohio State and learn from Ryan Day to basically be an additional coach in the room with Corey Dennis and Todd Fitch if he returns is an opportunity that he wanted to take advantage of. And plus, he provides some really valuable depth for Ohio State this spring because Lincoln Kienholz is not making the decision to enroll early, as he talked about that he was doing some back and forth. So he's going to come in June. Now you have a third body to help with some reps throughout the spring when Devin Brown and Kyle McCord are competing for the starting job. Gebbia will not be competing for that starting job. This is a Chris Chugginoff, Gunnar Hoke type of situation where they really just wanted a veteran presence, someone that can help these guys see the game a little bit different, and that really is a perfect fit for Tristan.
I think this is, if Ryan Day could every year, I think he'd add somebody like this, right? It's not always common, I guess, that a guy like this comes around. He's been pretty good at it with Gunnar Hoke and Chris Chugginoff, but there's not one of these guys every cycle. But he's going to be 25 in June. Like, he is played in 2 different conferences. He's has starting experience, as Austin said. He's seen some stuff, and like guys and guys in the room haven't. I know Kyle has that start under his belt, but it was also against Akron, so I don't want to make too much of that. These guys just sort of don't know what they don't know, and Tristan Gebbia, even though he doesn't have an extensive playing experience, he's been in college football so long that I think even that knowledge and experience is valuable in that room. And also too, it doesn't upset the apple cart. Like, I don't I don't think any of those guys are threatened by the addition of Tristan Gebbia. They probably welcome it because they need a sounding board now that CJ Stroud is not in that room. We don't even have like a walk-on who's been in the program for a few years that you can rely on. It's sort of like Kyle McCord is the veteran in that room, and he's not really veteran at all. So I think it's nice when you can kind of find this guy. If Ryan Day could do it every year, he would. He can't, obviously, but the fact that they were able to kind of mine one this offseason, I think, is really important for them.
I think what makes this one resonate just a little bit more is that the hard part of identifying those guys is going back to even what we're talking about with Kamryn Babb. If you have the ability to still play and you have started somewhere, you probably think that that's what you should be looking for if you're in the transfer portal. And I think that, you look at Chris Chuganoff and Gunnar Hoke, if memory serves, a lot of those came a little bit later in the process. It was like other options dried up. They weren't going to be able to start somewhere else. Where can I still go and maybe help in another way? And it was almost like a last resort. I think if you're looking at this from Gebbia's perspective, he seems to know what he wants. Now, we haven't had a conversation with him yet. We hope to. But our understanding is, as Berm alluded to, that he wants to be a coach and that he's looking for that experience, and he's okay, coming in and being a mentor to younger quarterbacks and learning and developing, for the next step that's not actually on the field. So I don't think generally in January guys have that presence of mind to say, how can this set me up for a career in coaching, or what can I give to another program just within the room? My knowledge of playing quarterback, of playing Power 5 football. So in some ways, Ohio State's a little bit ahead of the game here, because Ryan Day, he always says he doesn't want to go out and recruit backup quarterbacks. Transfer portal is a little bit different. Like they were not looking for somebody to challenge Kyle McCord or Devin Brown. Like that would have been less than ideal to do that in January to head into March, because really, we think that depending on what happens, it's going to be difficult in this age of college football to keep just those two guys around anyway. Now, if Kyle McCord wins the job, that's obviously different. Devin Brown expected that would be the path forward, but you are going to need to find some of these guys with that understanding and with the maturity to accept that role. So I think that that's really an encouraging sign that Gebbia came in with his eyes open, looking for that specific opportunity at Ohio State.
Yeah, and the reality is Ryan Day has had to adjust his entire approach when it comes to the quarterback room. 3 years ago, this is the guy who said he wants four scholarship quarterbacks. As the game has changed, you're not going to have four top-tier, ready-to-play, top-of-the-line competitors going for that spot every year. And so, as Bill alluded to, if you can find one of these guys, you are ahead of the game, because he does provide a certain experience and a certain mindset of saying, hey, this is what it's going to take to succeed. It's a kid who, as Austin, as you said, he was playing in the rivalry game with Oregon and Oregon State. Like, that's a big moment. And so you want someone that's been through that sort of fire, I guess. And certainly he's seen some things, as Bill said, like to go from Nebraska to Oregon, when you've seen multiple coaching changes, all this other stuff, multiple offensive coordinators, multiple styles of offense. This is a kid that has seen a lot, much more than the average college quarterback does. And who knows, maybe Ohio State needs a 25-year-old quarterback to win a national championship. It seems to work out for Georgia.
Bill already made that joke on the message board at OhioState.Rivals.com on Tuesday.
I missed that.
I did. I am nothing but predictable. Yeah.
See, you wanted him back, and now he's taking all your punchlines away.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I didn't know it existed before that, so he didn't take it from me. It's just the symbiotic mind that we share, the mind meld.
Do you guys think it's weird that Gebbia is 5 years younger than his position coach?
I think it's weird that Corey Dennis is still only 30.
Because he's been at Ohio State for 8 years, hasn't he? Or 7 years.
Yeah, he's been there the entire time I've been covering the team, and almost the entire time. This is my 9th season, I think.
I guess there's your example, Bill. He went straight from playing right at Georgia Tech to coaching for Ohio State as a GA. We just don't we don't have anything off the top of our brain for an Ohio State player who did that at his alma mater. There's got to be one. I think there is one, and it's not. I said Cam Burrows. It's not Cam Burrows. I'm misremembering, but I'm almost positive there is one, but I can't remember his name.
Donnie,
good content.
Avijay?
Yeah, maybe.
No.
So just anyone listening to this wants to know, just text me and I'll tell you what it is after I look it up.
Yeah, let's just sit here until you're done. Anything else going on in the middle of the week that you have your eyes on for Ohio State? Bill?
No, I mean, Bill.
Yeah. See,
No,
he's back.
Hmm.
You're out.
No, go ahead, Berm. Go ahead.
See you later, pal. Adios.
Well, you have something, so now you can go.
No, I have nothing. I'm just saying I'm excited. For those who are going to be following, Austin and I are heading down to South Florida this weekend. There's the Battle 7-on-7 tournament happening down there. Probably the most talent-filled 7-on-7 setup in the country, where you're talking about like just hundreds and hundreds of the best high school football players in the country. So very excited about that. And
I have a question about
sort
that,
of stoked. Sure.
Are players from Ohio allowed to play in that?
No, they're sure not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you son of a gun, Bill.
That seems like a bad rule. Why not, Berm?
That's a great question. Because Ohio high school football coaches don't care about their kids getting better, I guess. It seems weird to me. But hey, Ohio, you just keep doing it your way, and everyone else will pass us by. No big deal.
Well, you don't live in Ohio.
I am a proud
He's an Ohio.
alumni of an Ohio public school. Okay, I know better than anyone of all of you guys what it's like to participate and compete under the oppressive thumb of the OHSAA.
I want
those guys cost me a state championship in 1997 because they didn't want to ruin my arm by letting me throw 11 innings in 2 days instead of stupid 10. Okay, you cost me a title.
Have they done studies on the impact of 10 innings versus 11? Have you done it yourself?
No, but I really needed 12. But the point is, my brain has never gotten over it. So clearly, there's a psychological impact here that needs to be addressed.
That's true.
But it doesn't mean you're wrong. Their rules are as their rules as they pertain to high school football in the state are quite archaic.
Right.
And
you let basketball players can do anything they want. Baseball players are playing year round. Anyone else is playing wherever they want, however much they want. In football, you're still not allowed to do anything outside of your team from March to August. It's absolutely stupid. Just ludicrous.
I want you and the general Bobby Carpenter to have a conversation about the OHSAA. I think that would be an incredible piece of content.
Well, I just don't even understand the logic behind saying that the coaches don't want this to happen. Like, your players will get better. Like, that's what happens. Look at the development of high school athletes in a place like Georgia versus Ohio. These guys are a year behind when they get to campus. Kirby Smart said it 2 weeks ago. I said it, I think, a year ago. I've said it over and over and over. They're so far behind. It's not fair to them. And I believe in fairness.
That's true. You do.
More
Bill,
than anything.
did you have anything else in mind before Berm jumped in with that?
No, I'm just mad that I wrote a story on Tuesday that said Ohio State's at 85, and then they added someone like immediately to go to 86, which is just to say like the 85 doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. When they need to be at 85, they'll be at 85. Until that
August
point,
1st.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
August 1st, they'll be at 85. I can guarantee you that.
Why didn't
they'll probably swell back up to like 88 or 89 at some point, won't they?
Why didn't you just make that your entire story, Bill? Don't worry about it.
I think there is value in looking at it by position to see like, oh, they only have 6 cornerbacks again. But if you're worried about the overall number, just don't, because it doesn't matter. It's fake.
Fake numbers. Love that. We will get into those positions moving forward, I promise. But we had a couple more moves to break down for Ohio State. Maybe not the most seismic of the offseason, certainly not compared to CJ Stroud, but Kamm Babb walking away is certainly worth paying attention to and paying tribute to for his contributions to Ohio State. And Tristan Gebbia filling out the quarterback depth chart at that position. Got to talk about that as well. Appreciate Jeremy Birmingham and Bill Landis, as always, for bringing their insight to those topics. I am just Austin Ward. This has been the Podcast Daily. We're going to be back for more tomorrow. We'll talk to you then.